Bria Hartley and the Sophie Cunningham attack. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Connecticut. Look like more evidence is definitely coming out of the pipeline in regards to Sophie Cunningham and Bria Hartley. Now, we know there was a situation that took place in the second quarter of the game, possibly at the 8-minute, 9-second mark. That is a Bria Hartley, diving into the knees of Sophie Cunningham. Now, we know that play has since went viral. And I'm here to tell you more news is coming out in regards to Bria Hartley. And it looked like she was kind of pleased with what she done.
The WNBA is in the spotlight again, but this time it's not for a game-winning shot. Fans are absolutely furious, and it's all because of one player's actions, Bria Hartley. She's gone full villain mode after a shocking and dangerous move on the court that left Sophie Cunningham in agony. And to make matters worse, Hartley didn't just get physical. She mocked Sophie in the aftermath. But that's not even the worst part of this story.
Tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision.
Let's go all the way to Connecticut. Second quarter, around 8 minutes left. Sophie Cunningham is making her move on the court when Bria Hartley decides to bring the fight, not just the basketball. She goes low, targeting Sophie's knees. Boom, Sophie crumbles. It's not just a regular fall, it's a vicious, deliberate move. The clip goes viral within minutes, and what fans saw was more than a physical hit. It was a blatant attack on a player's career.
That has since went viral. Somebody sent me this late last night, and this is the face of Bria Hartley, man, laughing. She's laughing after colliding with none other than Sophie Cunningham. Evil, vicious, malicious. Just my goodness, bro.
And then came Hartley's behavior. While Sophie's down, writhing in pain, Hartley is grinning like she just hit a buzzer beater. Fans are furious. This wasn't just about basketball anymore. It was personal. People rushed to social media, calling her malicious, reckless, and heartless. This wasn't a game. This was a disgrace, and the backlash was quick and intense.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Normally, when something like this happens, the broadcast would replay the hit, analyze it, and discuss whether it was intentional. But not here. The camera cuts away. No mention of the seriousness of the injury. No commentary on Hartley's actions. Just a quick transition, like nothing happened. The WNBA brushed it off, and that silence speaks volumes.
I don't know if the referees could have prevented the Sophie Cunningham injury. I'm going to be honest with that. I don't know if the referees could have done it. I don't know if it was intentional from Bria Hartley. I think if it was anyone other than Bria Hartley or Marina Mabrey on the Sun team, everyone would have just said, no, it's not intentional. It was completely accidental.
And then the photo. Someone caught the moment right after the hit. Hartley, still grinning, Sophie in pain. That one photo sent shockwaves through social media. It wasn't just a visual. It told the whole story of what Hartley did. That photo didn't lie, and it confirmed the worst fears of fans.
Paula, at WNBA, maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game, protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, officially, my two favorite players in this league that I really particularly love to pull for, they're both out now. And it did not look good.
The internet exploded, but fans didn't stop there. They dug into Hartley's past. Turns out, this wasn't a one-off. There were more incidents, more reckless plays, more dirty fouls. Fans pointed out how this wasn't new behavior for her. It was just the latest chapter in a troubling pattern. As if it couldn't get any more emotional, Sophie Cunningham's family stepped in. Her sister tweeted, calling Hartley a disgrace. Her mom chimed in too, accusing Hartley of being a danger on the court. And that hit home for everyone.
There are players that cannot be replaced, and there are an abundance of players that no one gives a shit about. If you're the WNBA, common sense would dictate that you do everything in your power to protect your star players. You do everything you can to protect your assets. But for some reason, this dump of a league seems to protect anonymous faces over the pretty faces. They protect the players who are injuring the players that people are paying to see.
This wasn't just a play. It was a family's heartbreak. And Sophie herself. She didn't go on a public rant, but she retweeted her sister's words. In this moment, her silence spoke volumes. Sophie wasn't just the victim. She was quietly, powerfully backing up her family's anger. Fans saw that, and they took it seriously. And now, we're left with a bigger question. Why isn't the WNBA doing anything about this?
Dirty, dirty Bria, of course. It had to be a dirty, dirty Bria. I would really hate to see ya in a dark alley. Dirty Bria Hartley back at it again with her shenanigans. And this time around, she had her eyes set on one Sophie, the trophy Cunningham. Sophie, get well soon. Hopefully the MRI later today shows nothing too serious. Would love to see you back on the court. Bria Hartley dives for Sophie Cunningham's knees, doesn't even try to avoid the collision, doesn't try to move out the way. Bria Hartley sees Sophie's legs and says, that's the direction I'm going to fall in, even though
the league has a history of light-handed discipline. A fine here, a slap on the wrist there. But when it's a career-threatening injury, where's the action? If the league doesn't set a strong standard, this won't be the last time a player gets hurt. And that's a reality we can't ignore.
Player, and boy, did it show up again today. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, and hit that bell notification. Listen, Sophie Cunningham was targeted, y'all. I'm telling you right now, Sophie Cunningham was targeted by Bria Hartley, and it just is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to sit here and play games and act like, you know, she wasn't. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, and that's just the fact of the matter. And people can act like it's not all they want. I told you guys this girl was a dirty player, and that's all she did today was show how dirty she is.
Let's talk about Sophie's journey after the incident. While the physical toll was obvious, the emotional and mental strain was even more significant. Athletes, especially in women's sports, have to deal with so much already. Media pressure, the financial struggle for respect, and the challenge of constant scrutiny. Sophie Cunningham wasn't just recovering from a physical hit, she was recovering from an assault on her career. How does she come back from that?
I think when it comes to Bria Hartley, I don't know if the intent is there, but she's completely reckless. Like, there are some players you can tell the intent is there. When they have to go out of their way to, like, I think when it comes to Alyssa Thomas, you can tell when she hits someone hard that the intent is there. You can tell that she wants to hurt someone, or maybe not hurt somebody, but she wants to rough them up. Bria Hartley, I don't know. She might just be completely out of control. So that's something like completely reckless is fine. And then Sophie Cunningham's sister. Maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are able to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you, so Fowler.
The anger wasn't just for the moment, it was for what could have been. Before this, Sophie Cunningham was seen as a fiery, determined player, someone who didn't back down from a challenge, someone fans loved to cheer for. But now, she's the face of something bigger, the mistreatment of players within the WNBA. This dirty hit has become her defining moment, and that's not fair.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
You can literally hear her screaming in pain. It's so heartbreaking. Indiana Fever star guard Sophie Cunningham, the enforcer, had a lower leg injury today against the Connecticut Suns. It happened on this play. She's helping on defense, steps up, gets her legs tangled, goes down, ruled out for the game. The severity of the injury is right now unknown, but she had to be helped off the court.
Sophie is fighting for more than just a return to the court. She's fighting for her name to be known for something greater than this incident, and fans have rallied behind her, but the scars from that hit run deep. This isn't just about Bria Hartley or Sophie Cunningham anymore. It's about the WNBA as a whole. The league's inability to address these kinds of situations creates an environment where players feel unsafe. What happens when stars like Aja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, or Sabrina Ionescu find themselves the target of such dirty play? Where's the league then?
And Sophie's mother, Paula Hartley, is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. So What can you say? I do not blame Sophie's mother and sister for being upset. Marina Mabrey went nuts in this game, scored 27 points.
If the WNBA continues to ignore these issues, it risks losing the credibility it's been fighting so hard to build. The fans are demanding action. They're calling out the league for not protecting its players. They want a league that holds its athletes accountable for their actions and protects the players who are at the heart of its success. This isn't just about one game or one player. This is about the future of the league and its reputation. Fans want to see more than just social media posts and press releases. They want real action, and they want it now.
I don't know how the Indiana Fever can continue to survive these things. Here you see Sophie Cunningham laid out on the floor, holding her knee. The lady was in tears, crying as Lexi Hall approached her to help her through this situation. I don't know if it's her knee. I don't know if it's her Achilles, the way she was kind of dragging her foot. I don't know. But Bria Hartley has had dirty plays all season. But you got to know who we're talking about. Bria Hartley is the same girl. Bria Hartley is the same woman that pulled Angel Reese out of there by her ponytail.
Social media is a double-edged sword for athletes, and in this case, it's been both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, fans can share their outrage, rallying behind Sophie Cunningham. On the other hand, it can turn into a battleground where players like Bria Hartley are held to public scrutiny. But social media is also the place where change happens. The more fans demand justice, the more likely it is that the WNBA will be forced to confront the issue. Athletes have always had more power than they realize. In today's world, they aren't just playing games, they're shaping the conversation.
This is a play where Sophie Cunningham is dribbling toward the baseline. As you can see, she catches the ball in the wing, dribbles down, and then JC Sheldon kind of body checks her out of bounds, but the referee didn't call a foul there. He just called it an out of bounds. Like Sophie Cunningham ran out of bounds is what he called. So you watch her here, dribbles, pushed out of bounds. Sophie's like, oh, of course, it's going to be a foul. No, it wasn't. That wasn't a foul. This one, she actually quote tweeted herself. As you can see, she's running up and then Hartley kind of elbows her in the neck and Sophie falls to the ground. Now she reposted this and she said, they said I flopped, LOL. So I guess the referees told her that she flopped on that play, or the players, who knows? Somebody told her that she flopped on that play. This is Aaliyah Boston and Tina Charles, and they are battling in the post. And then you can see
Sophie Cunningham's quiet yet powerful response to the attack on her knee is a perfect example of how athletes can use their voice and platform to create a ripple effect that extends beyond the court. While Sophie didn't call out Bria Hartley by name or make a big public spectacle of the situation, her subtle act of retweeting her sister's words spoke volumes. This type of action might seem passive, but in a world of instant social media reactions, it has a deep impact. Athletes like Sophie have the ability to shift the public conversation, bring attention to overlooked issues, and challenge the norms that have been in place for far too long.
WNBA has an issue with dirty play in this league. Dirty play skill masked as dirty play. It's disgusting. Bria Hartley doesn't even deserve to be on a roster in this league. Sophie Cunningham's family saying, what's going on here? You guys are calling out Sophie Cunningham, finding Sophie Cunningham for calling out the officiating. Meanwhile, you're letting players just take dives at each other. Again, Bria Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt in this instance.
When Sophie stood behind her family's anger, she indirectly amplified the message that what Hartley did was not just a wrong move, it was an issue that the entire league and its fans needed to address. And the beauty of this action is that it sets a precedent for other athletes to do the same. If more athletes follow in Sophie's footsteps, using their platform to hold their peers in the league accountable, it could be a turning point in the way players protect each other and demand fair treatment. Sophie didn't just represent herself. She represented all the players who might one day find themselves in a similar situation. She became a voice for the many, and that kind of advocacy can reshape the landscape of sports culture, especially in women's leagues.
For the Indiana Fever, because Sophie Cunningham has been somebody, she has been the glue of this team since Caitlin has been out. She is playing so incredibly well during the second half of this season. She plays hard every single night. She's super tough. She doesn't make excuses. She is somebody who has really held this team together, and seeing her go down in the first half, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what it was at first when I saw her went down. So let's break down the done. Like, they just can't get out of it. The morale of the team is done. Seeing Sophie go down, like, maybe this team just doesn't have any fight left in them. And I was actually ready to give them a pass as well. I was like, you know what? It's been a hard season. And at some point you might just have to throw in the towel and be like, you know what? We will get after it next season. It is what it is.
The reality is that women's sports, including the WNBA, are still fighting for equal treatment and respect on and off the court. When incidents like this occur, they reveal a larger systemic issue within the league. The fact that this situation was brushed aside so quickly speaks to a bigger problem. The leadership of the league doesn't truly understand the unique challenges female athletes face. Many of the decision makers in the WNBA are disconnected from the everyday realities of being a female athlete in a male-dominated sports world. The decision makers, the ones who are supposed to protect the players and make tough calls on issues like discipline, lack the first-hand experience to empathize with the struggles these players face. If the WNBA truly wants to protect its players and grow the game, it needs to reflect the voices of those who actually understand what it takes to succeed at the highest levels of women's sports. The solution? More women in leadership roles. The WNBA needs to bring in people who not only have the experience to make smart decisions, but who also live the game, understand the stakes, and are ready to stand up for what's right. By diversifying the league's leadership, with more women at the table, athletes, former players, coaches, and advocates, it's possible to create a more transparent, compassionate, and accountable environment that can truly protect the players and preserve the integrity of the league. Having female leadership at all levels, from the front office to the court, is the only way to ensure that player safety is prioritized over everything else. It's not just about protecting a player from physical harm, it's about creating an environment where players feel respected, valued, and heard. Women leaders can relate to their athletes in a way that current decision-makers simply can't, and this is essential if the league is going to keep growing and earning the respect it deserves.
On the officiating, we hear the concerns, we take that input. Every play is reviewed, spend hours and hours and hours. Obviously, we use that then to follow up with officials, training. Consistency is important, I think. I think some people who observe our game versus other basketball formats are that there aren't a ton of fouls called, but I realize consistency is the name of the game. So I think it's something we definitely, Doug, look at and evaluate. And there's an independent evaluation of our officials. There are ramifications. It's something we need to continue to work on.
The WNBA is at a crossroads. After all the progress the league has made in recent years, after all the strides taken in growing the game and increasing viewership, it's facing a pivotal moment. How the league handles situations like the Brea Hartley-Sophie Cunningham incident will determine whether it continues to thrive or faces setbacks. This is a defining moment in WNBA history, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The WNBA needs to ask itself, what does it want its legacy to be? Does it want to be known for defending its players, for taking a firm stand against dirty play and dangerous behavior, or will it continue down the same path, ignoring the very real issues that affect its athletes? There's a real fear that if the league doesn't take swift and decisive action, it could alienate its core fans, who, despite their passion for the game, may start to feel like their concerns about player safety are being ignored. And if the league continues to turn a blind eye to the mistreatment of players, it risks losing credibility with the athletes who give everything to play at the highest level. But there's still hope. This incident could be the catalyst for real change. If the WNBA finally recognizes the need for stronger disciplinary actions, not just against the players but within its own leadership, it could emerge stronger and more unified. The fans want accountability. The players want protection. And now more than ever, the league needs to listen. For the WNBA to recover and build on its momentum, it must show that it's not afraid to hold its own accountable, even if that means confronting uncomfortable truths and making tough decisions. Fans want the league to be more than just a product. They want it to be a movement. They want to see real action and real progress, not just promises.
Outside of Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, it is extremely difficult to be positive about the WNBA. One of those stars has been injured all season, and it's highly unlikely that she is going to return this year. Sophie Cunningham has stepped up and carried the league in the absence of the Great White Hope, but now she's injured too. Many believe that their injuries are a result of dirty play. Throughout the season, fans and WNBA players, They have been begging the league to crack down on dirty players. But the diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, she is either incapable or she is unwilling to protect her star players.
At the end of the day, this isn't just about basketball. It's about the future of the WNBA, the safety of its players, and the integrity of the sport. We are witnessing a moment in history where the league has a choice. Will it listen to the fans and players calling for change, or will it continue to allow its athletes to be treated as expendable? The silence surrounding the Bria Hartley-Sophie Cunningham incident speaks volumes, but it's time for the league to stop hiding and start making the hard calls. The WNBA is at a tipping point. If they continue to ignore these issues, they risk not only the safety of their players, but also the growth of the game. If the league does nothing, it sends a clear message to the world that player safety and fair play aren't priorities. But if the WNBA steps up and holds its players accountable, if they institute meaningful change and make it clear that no one is above the rules, then it could mark the start of a new era for women's sports. So fans, the ball's in your court. Now is the time to demand action. Speak out, make your voice heard, and make sure the WNBA knows that protecting its players isn't optional, it's essential. This is a pivotal moment for the future of the game, and the choices made today will echo for years to come. The world is watching. Will the WNBA step up, or will it continue to fall short? The answer will determine the future of women's professional basketball.